Well, hey guys, how are you? Welcome back. I am Summer with Summer Sweet Shop. I'm super excited that you were here today because we're talking about something that can change your business. A little tweak that can change the whole game for you. And that is things that you can automate in your business. I'm super excited to tell you about things that I have done to put in place to automate in my business and how it made a huge difference. I now spend a whole lot less time, a less busy work time than I ever did in my business because of these automations that I have put into place. You know, honestly, before I started automating different things in my business, I felt like I was either glued to my phone or glued to my laptop 24/7. That I was just trying to stay afloat and keep my head afloat, whether that was from controlling cookie class registrations, to watching my pre-orders, to responding to customer inquiries that were coming through in my email. All of those things were causing me a lot of overwhelm. It was causing me stress. And I realized, hey, I really could benefit from setting up some automations. And I heard someone talking about these different automations, and I started taking notes. And I said, I need to be able to set up different automations for sending invoices, for email responses, keeping up with who has paid their invoice and who hasn't. Email marketing. We're going to talk about that a lot more here in just a little bit. But keeping up with all of those things, all of those tasks was exhausting. It was 100% exhausting. So once I was able to automate a lot of those different pieces in my business, everything shifted. And I could have people that could register for their class. They could get all the details of that class without me having to respond, without me having to write out all of the things. I felt like it was this huge weight that was lifted when I really realized that I could apply this same approach with so many different parts of my business, not just for cookie class registration. After I was put all these different automations into place, I was able to focus on the parts of the business that I love, and the creating, the designing the cookies, the teaching the classes, recording my videos, and the being able to grow my community. Those were all things that I could now do because I automated in my business. So what are some of those things that I decided to automate in my business? Well, I'm going to break it down into 3 different key areas that help me save time. They help me reduce stress, and they help me to create a smoother experience for the customers. So I really wanted to step into their shoes and say, what are the things that I can do to make it easier for them, whether they were coming to place a pre-order with me for some holiday cookies, whether they were placing a custom order with me, or maybe they wanted to come to one of my classes. I wanted to be able to make that experience super easy, super painless for them and for me. So the first one that I did was email marketing. Remember, I said we're going to talk about this one because this is a biggie. I feel like I could spend all day long in emails, and you kind of get buried. You get buried under people that are inquiring about doing a custom order, or they want to know about your next class that you're going to be teaching. And you can spend a lot of time responding to those emails. And while that's great in building your community, it may not be the best use of your time. Email can be very magical, and I love email marketing and believe in it 100%. We've talked about it here several times, but I didn't want to be running email marketing constantly in my business. I wanted to be able to set things up on the back end so that they worked without me having to be right there on top of it. So one of those things that I did with the email marketing is I set up welcome sequences. So I have a place where people can join my email list, whether that is from one of my freebies that I have, of how to start selling your cookies, or maybe you might have a coupon code, or maybe you have your recipe on there. Whatever it is, whatever that way for them to sign up to my email, I have an automation set up so that they get a sequence of emails. I like to call them nurture emails as well, that introduces them to who I am, my brand, what I'm all about. And these emails are set up so it sends out the first one once they sign up for that email list. And then I have it segmented out so that they get an email every 3 days, or get one on the 5th day, or they get one 2 weeks later. So I'm not having to set reminders on my calendar and say, hey, don't forget, you've got to email this person back, or send out a mass email. No, it's going to set up that automation once. I have that email already written and I can send it. I can set it and forget it. I can set it up to go out once they've signed up from the list. It's going to go out on the 3rd day. It's going to go out then a week later. It's going to go out 2 weeks later after that. So that just really, really helps me to stay in front of them, for them to know who I am, what I'm all about, and I am staying relevant with them. So that was number 1 that I set up. Number 2, the second one I set up was launch reminders. So this is if I'm opening registration for my pre-orders for a holiday cookies that I'm going to be taking, or maybe it is so for a pre-sale, it might be when I am opening up registration for a cookie class. So I set up those launch reminders because I already know, I get out my calendar, I can look and see what is the date of that class, of that pre-order, of that pop-up, and then I can just backtrack. I can work backwards and say, I'm going to set up these email launch reminders to email my students, to email my customers about the upcoming pre-orders that I've got going on, of the upcoming class that I'm going to be teaching. And so it works really, really well because, again, I'm creating those emails ahead of time. So I'm batching those emails at one time, and then I'm setting them up to go out when that pre-order goes live. I'm going to set it up for 4 days after the pre-live goes. So I'm going to set email number 2 to go then. Email number 3 is going to go out when we're about a week out from those pre-orders being picked up, and then we're going to do a last minute email as well. So you get to decide which ones that you want to do, how many emails you want to send. Doesn't matter, but I'm going to set up those reminders in my email system so that I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go in and say, oh yeah, it's the 10th of July and my class is on the July 20th. I need to be emailing my people. I'm going to have it already figured out. I'm going to have it set, and it's going to go out without me having to think about it. And think about how much time you can save when it comes to teaching classes at Christmas time, when it comes to your pre-orders that you're doing for Halloween. You can set those up. You're going to get your big calendar. You're going to be able to set your dates of when your pre-orders are going to be, and then work backwards from there with your marketing. Okay, and the last one I did was I automated my abandoned cart follow-ups. This is a big one because you have people that will be scrolling through your website. They're going to be looking for what you have to offer, and whether that's a pre-sale, or maybe they're looking through, they're about to do sign up for a class. They've put it in their cart. They're thinking about it. Most websites, I know Wix has this feature, Square has this feature. A lot of websites have this feature where you can set up that automation of, hey, if a person, if that customer comes in and they have put something in their cart and then they have abandoned that cart, meaning that they never did check out, I can have that email automation set up so that it will give them a prompt to say, hey, you forgot something in your cart. Don't forget about it. This was huge when I did this for my pre-sales. And a lot of times it's just like clicking a button and putting in a pre-written email in there. Once I did that, I saw so many more conversions on that second day, on that third day, because it was alerting people, hey, don't forget to check out, because we get distracted. We get, our brains get distracted by something else, and life is just going on, and we forget about, oh yeah, I was going to sign up for that class, or oh yeah, I was going to order those Halloween cookies. So setting up that simple task of setting up that automation to have the abandoned cart follow-ups was huge. Okay, something else that I also automated was class sign-ups and payments. I always tell you guys, get payments ahead of time. Once someone has placed an order, you're going to be invoicing them for that. The same thing goes for your classes. If you have classes that you want people to sign up for, your cookie classes that you were teaching, you need to have signups and payments ahead of the class. Don't rely on them coming to the class and paying you. Absolutely not. We want to have that ahead of time. Well, when you are managing this online, I highly recommend that you use some type of system, a website for you to have so that they can register for your class and they can do their payment on the class. Again, Wix and Square are great for these. This is what I have used many times to keep it really simple. Just like you have your listing for your pre-orders or your holiday orders on your website, you can list your class in the same way. And a lot of times, especially with Wix, you can put in there the amount of orders that you can take. So say you only have room for 6 people in your class, you can set that limit to 6 people. So that's one thing that I love about setting up that automation, having that class signups. You're gonna, you can use Constant Contact a lot of times with that. But like I said, Square and Wix are my favorite go-tos because they are inexpensive, they work really well, and they work for what cookie business owners need. So for customers that are gonna pay and reserve their spot, they're gonna get to pay instantly. You don't have to wait for that. You don't have to send an invoice. They're putting that in their cart and they are checking out. And just like we just said, even if they don't check out, you can send that automation reminder of that follow-up of say, hey, you abandoned your cart, you had something in there, don't forget to check out. And so with these systems, students are able to automate their confirmation emails. You're able to set that up, that it sends them an email automatically when they sign up for that class to say, hey, I'm so excited about you coming to this class. Here's a few reminders. Set that automation up so that you are not having to manually go and do that. Nobody wants to do that. Also, that's just going to give them that confirmation of, hey, I signed up for the class. There have been so many times where that email didn't work for some reason. And I always get questions of, I didn't get an email. Am I still signed up for the class? They're expecting to have some type of receipt, some type of confirmation that, hey, my purchase went through. So it's going to be very simple for you to set that up with your email automations. And then the last thing that I automated in my business, far from the very last thing that I've automated in my business, but the last thing I'm talking about today is social media. This is one that I feel like I could spend all the live long day doing is creating content for social media, posting on social media. What am I saying? What am I doing? And instead of scrambling last minute and trying to figure out what am I going to post, what am I going to say, I like to batch my content at least like a week's worth at a time. I know that like things change with trends and trending videos, trending reels and things like that. So I try to do a week's worth of content at a time. And then what I do is once I have that, then I can schedule it and that I know that it's already there. It's ready to go. I've got my caption written out. I've got my hook written out that's going to go on screen. I've got my pinned comment. All of those things are set up and ready to go so that I'm not spending all my day, all of my time creating that content. So I like to set aside time. A lot of times I do that on Fridays because I can just like zone into that and plan what my posts are going to be, what videos I'm going to be shooting. And sometimes I'll do that like on a Friday, and then I'm working on that the following week, and mapping out that content is so vital. Maybe that is creating your graphics that you're going to be using, and what videos you need to be filming, so you're writing out those descriptions. And then I use the scheduling tools that are in Meta for Facebook and for Instagram. I use those to post automatically. They work fantastic and work really great, and I highly recommend them. And now we can, I think that we can now automate our schedule posts for Reels, which is a game changer. This allows you that you're not tied to your phone, you're not tied to your social media. And if you're like me, you get on your phone to do something else, and then you end up an hour later, you're like scrolling and you're like, how did this happen? So I don't want you to feel like you're missing out because you're trying to be disciplined and work on your business, but at the same time, you're able to post that content that is really relevant for your business and needs to get out there. So those automations are just a few of the ones that I started to implement. I don't suggest that you do all of these all at once. Pick one or two of these. Maybe it's your emails. Maybe it is your social media. Maybe it's your customer communication, so your emails. Whatever it is, I want you to think about picking one of those things and what can you automate in your business today? What is something that is heavy on your plate? It's weighing on your shoulders. You feel like you're just doing it constantly, but you know that there is things that you can set up on the back end, in the back end of your business, that's going to make it so much easier for you going forward. So I want you to gain that time back that you are spending on all of that, so that you have the creative space, that you have the freedom to work on the things that you really love. I know exactly what it's like to feel overwhelmed by those tasks, to feel that you have so many things on your plate. How are you ever going to get any of them done? By setting up these automations, it really takes that off of your plate and helps you to really make a plan and to stick to it and really make a difference in that workload, that busy work that you've got consuming you. So start small. I want you to watch how much smoother your cookie business can run. Let me know in the comments, what is the one thing that you are going to try and automate in your business that you're not right now? I want you to give me a comment. Let me know below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I appreciate you guys being here. I can't wait to see you guys next week, but I want to know, what are the things that you're automating? What are the things that are weighing you down in your business and you're like, I'm not going to do my business like this anymore? What are you going to automate? What are you going to say, hey, I can batch this, I can do this at a different time, I can do this better? Okay, thanks so much, guys. I always enjoy being here with you, and I can't wait to see you guys next time.